I talked about this a little bit yesterday, and I kind of want to talk a little more about this topic here. But let's take a listen to Stephanie White.
One of the things about Nay is that she's going to play her butt off, man. She's going to compete. Nobody's going to go walking in for a layup. And so I don't oppose the hard foul. But I also don't think that she intentionally went for the net.
I think every single person in that arena knows she intentionally did it. I think every single person online knows she intentionally did it. Other players know she intentionally did it. Because again, we will talk about it even more. But again, Sid Colson has Sid Colson basically celebrated it, and what's her name? Tip Hayes celebrated it as if it was intentional. They know. They know. All the players know this was intentional. Like, if they're wrong, if it turns out that it was intentional, again, no one can read the mind of genuinely of Dijonai, but I'm sorry. 90% chance it was intentional. But when it comes to Stephanie White, this is there are two ways we can look at this. And I understand why the public are going mad at Stephanie White. I do understand. Because there's two ways of looking at this. Like, Stephanie White stared down Dijonai immediately. And I talked about this in yesterday's video. Like, she jumped off the bench to get involved in a tussle. She has never done that for any other player. And it was to stare down Dijonai. It was not to help Sophie. It was to stare down Dijonai. And I gotta be real. She looked as most pissed I've ever seen Stephanie White actually look. But at the same time, when it comes down to this, when Alyssa Thomas went for Caitlin Clark, she went mad, she went nuts in the media, and then had to basically take back what she said. Everybody knew that was intentional. Stephanie White knew what Alyssa Thomas did to Caitlin Clark was intentional. And then she lost it in the media. It didn't work out well. Maybe I'm looking at this from a human level because, or maybe just as a fan of the fever. If Stephanie White said this to the team or tried to calm down Sophie Cunningham by saying, look, this wasn't intentional. This wasn't intentional. Or said to any other player on this team that it wasn't intentional. We got to be real here. It's over. Like, we might as well stop caring about the Indiana Fever. If your coach does not have your back when you get clotheslined out of the air, get bloodied up, and then be accused of having white privilege online for getting attacked. And again, maybe that's an extreme. Maybe the word attacked is a bit extreme, but I'll use the word targeted. If your coach is doing that privately, it's over. It is. And look, we're not in the Indiana Fever locker room. And we'll see how they come out. Because you can see Caitlin Clark's reaction. Caitlin Clark doesn't want to have to deal with this shit publicly. Like, Caitlin Clark didn't want to have to come out in 2024 playoffs and say Dijonai didn't mean to eye gouge her. I don't know. Like, we got to be real. Like, I watched that play 100 times. Dijonai Carrington did not mean to eye gouge Caitlin Clark. She tried to club her in the face. Like, she tried to get her in the face. She does not have the control to captain insane of her in that period of time. But she tried to, Caitlin threw the pass, put a bit extra onto it. Like, you know, in the soccer tackles where somebody makes a pass and then you go through them. She tried to put extra on it and the referee ignored the hit to the face. Like, there is no way Dijonai didn't try to do that. If it turns out that she didn't, she's the only person that knows. But as someone who's played ball, there's no way, unless you have no regard for the other people's safety, that was accidental. And the comment saying she's saving Sophie's future self-retaliation. When Sophie makes a reckless, dangerous play, she'll answer the same. She's probably not want to say something without people calling for anyone of three of them to be suspended and seeing if WNBA actually do something about it. The Fever can't win. Yeah, because like, look, I don't think Dijonai will get suspended for that. And again, this whole interview here, if this is a case of if she is hyping up Dijonai or trying to like, because Dijonai has terrorized Caitlin Clark on a human level. Dijonai has terrorized Caitlin Clark. From the day that Caitlin Clark set foot in the league, Dijonai has terrorized her. Like, she has made Caitlin Clark's life infinitely harder. She has terrorized Caitlin. So I'm sorry, it doesn't even matter. Like, if you are privately trying to defend Dijonai to Caitlin Clark, you've lost Caitlin Clark then. I don't think that Stephanie White is doing this privately. I think that this is Stephanie White coming into the locker room and being like, look, we want a story. We don't want this to get as big as the AT situation. We just want a hoop. Like, I said what I did, what I had to say to make sure that this isn't in the news again. Or for nothing else, that she's in the news again for not defending her teammates. Because we've heard about the way that she responded to the JC Sheldon situation. Basically like, yeah, we're not getting punked in a positive way. So that's the only way I'm looking at it. Like, I personally think that this has to be a smokescreen. This has to be we don't want the media to run with this. We don't want this to get so out of control. It doesn't do anything any good. I don't want to make Dijonai's Twitter victim tirade even worse. I don't want to make this a bigger deal, because you better believe if she came out and said this is unacceptable, there needs to be the league can't keep letting players away with this. At the end of the day, it was a flagrant 2. If she came out and said again, this is unacceptable. She can't keep letting my players can't keep getting targeted. Dijonai will go on Twitter to say something about her, and then she becomes a bigger story, and this all gets worse. So when you have a completely, I'm not going to say unhinged, but like unpredictable human like Dijonai, who is willing to burn down everything around her. Let's not forget, like, Nalissa Smith was a player on the Fever, and she wanted to burn down that organization when her girlfriend was on the team. She will burn down everything around her. She'll burn down her own organization. She'll burn down other organizations. Like, she is like nuclear in a bad way. How Jackie Young has managed to avoid the Dijonai touch, as in everything Dijonai touches turns to shit. How Jackie Young's been able to avoid it just shows how good Jackie Young is at basketball. But I'm gonna be real here. It's one of those things where I'm hoping that Stephanie White. I'm really, 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 really hoping that Stephanie White is just trying to, for lack of a better word, with everything, is like just trying to calm everything down. Because again, there is a world where that's the case. There is a world where that's the case. And you're seeing Caitlin Clark's reaction. Like, this is her reaction to hearing that Dijonai tweeted. And like, her and KK was like, oh no. Like, they knew this was going to happen. And I really do hope, I really, really do hope that this was a case where Stephanie White is trying to calm things down and is hyping, or is just defending Dijonai publicly. Because if Stephanie White is trying to defend Dijonai Carrington privately to this Indiana Fever team, it's over. It's flat out over. Like, their season's over. Stephanie White's run is over. And I'm sorry, you cannot defend Dijonai Carrington to Caitlin Clark. Again, a person who has terrorized Caitlin Clark for the last 3 years. If you try to do that, that is you done. If you lose the trust of Caitlin Clark, you're gone as a coach, or Caitlin Clark's gone as a player. There is no way in hell that she's trying to do this. She's doing this privately. And again, if she is, like, Caitlin, go pick out whatever team you want to join, because Lauren Betts and Georgia Amor and Chicago's 2028 pick for Caitlin, sounding good. But yeah, that is pretty much it. I think people saying White's is pathetic. I agree. I'm just kind of hoping that this is just a public thing to calm things down, because if this is what Stephanie White actually believes, we might as well give up on the Indiana Fever being a good basketball team, because there is no way in hell that if this is what she's believed and this is what she has said to the team privately, that she has not torched her relationship with Caitlin Clark, and it doesn't appear like she has.